The unbelievable story of Ray Garrison. Imagine being a U.S. Marine like Ray Garrison, the soldier that every boy dreams of becoming when they grow up. Ray just completed a dangerous rescue mission in Kenya, where he neutralized terrorists without harming any hostages. After such a successful operation, Ray decides to take a few days off and enjoy the Italian coast with his beautiful wife, Gina. But little did Ray know that his vacation would take an unexpected turn. One morning, he wakes up alone with a note from Gina saying she went out to grab breakfast. However, the sound of footsteps in the hallway reveals a different story. Two armed men have entered their hotel room, catching Ray off guard. Usually, Ray is fully prepared to deal with such situations, but this time, the element of surprise gets the best of him. Before he knows it, he has been injected with a paralyzing substance and blacked out. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself inside a walk-in freezer with a bag over his head. To make matters worse, the same man from the hotel hallway, Martin Axe, is there too, showing off his dance moves. Martin wants to know who tipped off the Marines about the hostage situation, but Ray insists he has no idea. Martin doesn't believe him and decides to use Gina to make Ray talk. Desperate, Ray swears he doesn't know anything, but Martin doesn't care. He executes both Ray and Gina, leaving them for dead. But wait, that's not the end of Ray's story. He wakes up again, but this time in a strange place called Rising Spirit Technologies. Dr. Harding explains to him that Ray's body was donated by the U.S. military to the lab. This is their first successful resurrection. Ray is introduced to Dr. Harding's colleague, KT, and they begin assessing his condition. Unfortunately, Ray doesn't remember anything about his past, not even his own name. Dr. Harding shows him around the lab and reveals that Ray is not only alive, but also a superhuman. His body has been enhanced with tiny robots called nanite biomechanical constructs, or nethers. These nethers can fix anything that happens to Ray's body and give off a red glow during intense activity. However, there's a catch. The nethers need to be recharged from time to time, or else it's game over for Ray. As Ray tries to come to terms with his new reality, he learns about the other residents of the lab. KT has an artificial respirator, Dalton regained his sight through a camera feed, and Dr. Harding himself has a prosthetic arm. While Ray tries to focus on his future, his past refuses to stay hidden. Flashes of his last moments before the kidnapping haunt him in nightmares. Determined to find answers, Ray hits the gym to clear his mind and prepare for what lies ahead. Imagine this: Ray, our brave hero, is hurt and lying on the ground. But suddenly, tiny nanites come to his rescue and heal him. It's like magic. Ray's friend, Martin, can't believe his eyes as Ray stands up and walks towards him with determination. Martin is inside a car, thinking he's safe. But Ray proves him wrong. Against all odds, Ray manages to get inside the car, leaving Martin shocked and scared. Martin tries to reason with Ray, telling him it's a mistake, but Ray doesn't listen. He pulls the trigger, and everything changes. A team is sent to pick up Ray and take him back to the lab. They want to recharge him, but Ray promises not to do anything like this again. However, nobody seems to care except for KT. Later, at the lab, Ray's motor functions are shut down, just like in those classic villain stories we love. While Ray is immobilized, Dalton takes the opportunity to reveal the truth. It turns out that Gina, who we thought was dead, is actually alive. Can you believe it? Those last 2 days of Ray's life were all part of a simulation created by Eric, the tech guy. They wanted to turn Ray into a weapon, controlling his every move. When Dr. Harding questions Katie's loyalty, she finally snaps. She realizes how messed up everything is. Dr. Harding promises that this will be the last time, and their next target is Nick Barris. Eric was able to locate him because of Martin's call from the car. But wait, there's more. As if things couldn't get any worse, we discover that Ray's victims are actually former employees, including Martin, Axe, and Nick Barris. Dr. Harding takes his own intellectual property too seriously and wants to get rid of anyone who knows too much. So, there you have it, the shocking truth behind Ray's journey. Betrayal, deception, and a fight for survival. Will Ray be able to overcome these obstacles and seek justice? Only time will tell. Ray is on a mission to seek revenge on Nick Barris. He initiates a simulation where everything happens again, but this time, Barris kidnaps a couple. KT, being obedient, uses her powers to help Ray. As Ray leaves the building to hunt down Barris, little do they know that Barris is fully aware and counting on Ray's arrival. When an unknown vehicle is detected near the premises, Barris sends his men to the basement where a man named Wilfred Wiggins lives. Wiggins goes upstairs with a mysterious case. At first, they watch the initial contact at the door, where Ray calmly informs the security guards that he wants to see Barris for revenge purposes. After a few bullets, the guards believe Ray is down and bring him inside, just as he planned. Eric, the mastermind behind the simulation, is pleased with Ray's resourcefulness. Eric's chill attitude changes when he recognizes Wilfred Wiggins talking to Barris in another room. Wiggins is a legendary tech genius, attacking just like Eric. He tells Barris that he should have called him before the device needs to be charged. Wiggins instructs Barris on which button to press, but he can only do it once it reaches 100%. Meanwhile, Ray is already up and about, causing Barris to panic. Eric has identified Wiggins' device, which can produce an electromagnetic pulse, EMP. An EMP is the only thing that could stop Ray. Dr. Harding, a member of the team, tries the communication channels, but something is jamming their signal. Ray manages to reach Barris before the device is fully charged, ignoring claims that it's a big mistake. He pulls the trigger, providing a great relief for the team. However, moments later, they lose signal completely. Wiggins has pushed the button himself, killing the power and causing Ray to collapse. Equipped with a generator and having planned this ages ago, Wiggins restarts the new gun with an electrical shock. Ray and Wiggins share everything they know, furious to learn that they have been manipulated. Ray gives Wiggins some nanites to reverse engineer, offering them a chance to regain their freedom. Using a phone that was inside the fridge during the pulse, Ray locates Gina and immediately drives there. However, Eric warns Dr. Harding and sends Tibbs and Dalton to retrieve Ray in London. Ray may be expecting them, but he isn't prepared for the shocking revelation that his beloved wife, Gina, is alive and well, but no longer his wife. Ray is devastated and needs a distraction. Tibbs and Dalton chase after Ray, causing chaos and destruction in London. They manage to insert a connection device into Ray, and Dr. Harding shuts him down remotely. Ray is taken back to the lab, where KT decides she's had enough and refuses to take part in Dr. Harding's crimes any longer. Dr. Harding turns off KT's clavicle respirator, leaving her with no choice but to stay. The toxic environment at the lab becomes evident as the other employees try to avoid KT's accusing stare. So, Wiggins is up to no good again, and his next task is to eliminate someone named KT. But getting rid of KT won't be easy because she's smart and knows how to defend herself. KT gets some detailed information about Wiggins' whereabouts and security system. She realizes that she doesn't need to outsmart a genius like Wiggins if she has the right looks. So, she decides to use her charm to distract him. But KT knows that even if she gets past Wiggins, she still has to deal with the security detail. She decides to handle them with less charm and more force. Surprisingly, her plan works. Meanwhile, Dr. Harding is having a conversation with someone named Ray. They are in a strange place called the neutral space. Dr. Harding explains that it's a special place where they can talk without any distractions. Ray is not easily impressed by this neutral space trick. He knows that Dr. Harding is trying to intimidate him. When Dr. Harding's approach fails, they decide to deactivate Ray temporarily by removing some nanites from his body. Just when they are about to start the nanite extraction, KT arrives and warns them that Wiggins got away. Dr. Harding believes her and stops the extraction. But little does he know, KT has her own plan. KT sneaks into another room while everyone is distracted. She starts to mess with the simulation that Dr. Harding and Eric are running. Dr. Harding realizes too late that KT is inside the simulation and she has her own magic button to press. Meanwhile, Wiggins is in a van parked several floors down from the building. He gains access to their system and starts a coding battle with Eric to lock each other out. Wiggins tricks Eric into thinking he has won, but in reality, he has helped release Ray from his wireless prison. While the smart people are busy running for their lives, Dr. Harding has another employee to deal with. Dr. Harding tries to suffocate Katie, but she is not affected because she has robotic parts. She uses her robotic skills to get to the company servers and starts to destroy them. Katie prefers to destroy the servers the old-fashioned way instead of burning the building down. Dr. Harding realizes that he needs Ray one more time to get Wiggins out of their way. Ray is still determined to finish his business with Wiggins. Dr. Harding sends Tibbs and Dalton after Ray, but Ray is ready for them. Ray and Dalton start fighting, causing destruction all around them. Even the elevator is not spared as it crashes through the side of the building. Ray and Tibbs find themselves hanging on for dear life. With Tibbs gone, Ray confronts Dr. Harding, who is trying to escape in his car as if nothing happened. But Ray catches up with him and the building is left in chaos. The exciting conclusion of Bloodshot, a middle school recap. Dr. Harding's backward philosophy. So, there's this guy named Dr. Harding who has a pretty strange way of doing things. Instead of running away when things get tough, he insists on sticking to his old-fashioned ideas. But guess what? It doesn't work out so well for him. A big gun and nanites. When Dr. Harding's big brain doesn't save him, he decides to grab a huge gun. Okay, fine, that's a bit more effective. But here's the thing, there are these tiny robots called nanites that can heal him super fast. So, even though he gets hurt, he just keeps coming back for more. Running out of battery. Dr. Harding's only hope is that the nanites run out of battery before they can heal him completely. And guess what? That's exactly what happens. Finally, he can't keep coming back anymore. Blowing things up. But who needs all this fancy technology to blow things up? Not our hero, Ray. He realizes that you don't need all the high-tech stuff to get the job done. Sometimes, simplicity is the key. Starting over. So, after all the chaos, Ray wakes up in a different place. But this time, he remembers everything. He meets up with KT, who's been waiting for him outside. And guess what? Dr. Harding was wrong about one thing: your past doesn't have to define your future. A question from Wiggins. Oh, and there's this guy named Wiggins who's also there. He's like a third wheel, but he asks a really important question. He wonders if everything is a little too good to be true. Is it all just a simulation? Something to think about. The end. And that's it. This was a recap of the 2020 movie Bloodshot by Columbia Pictures. It stars Vin Diesel and Isa Gonzalez. So, what do you think of the ending? Are they really free now, or is it still a simulation? Let us know in the comments below with the hashtag CinemaRecap.